Welcome back, new video. Let's talk about Trendlines. Everyone knows them, nobody knows how to use them nowadays, and I use them in my strategy as a pool of liquidity, and I'm going to teach you in this exact video how you can use it to get better entries, make more money, and get better take profit areas to target into liquidity areas. All right, let's talk no more and dive into the charts. All right, Trendlines. I have made an example on my chart because I want to show you how trend lines are mainly used. And a trend line, it says it all. It's based upon a trend towards the upside or the other way around towards the downside. Trend lines can go like this from the downside. So if we are bearish, the trend line is always facing this way and the other way around. Just basic knowledge about trend lines. But how do trend line traders trade trend lines? Well, pretty simple. They identify structure. They have a low, they have a second low, and these two are the connecting dots for the potential trend line. Then they wait for price to come down and they wait for price to tap into that trend line once again, and they enter on a long position. And this is something that's not been working pretty well lately. I know you can be profitable with it on higher time frames, etc. I'm not saying that you can't be profitable, but definitely on lower time frames you will get squeezed out too many times. And this is why we want to use those trend lines to our advantage to get better entries, to understand where price wants to trade it into, or wait for price to sweep it in the other way around. So what we very often see is that the trend line takes out liquidity, sometimes even more liquidity, but we won't dive too deep into the matter. And this is where I like to enter. And that would be looking something like this. So for a trend line, we have to understand what kind of participants entering on the trend line. And I will show you, because it's not only long traders. No, trend line traders come into a buy over here. They expect price to move on. First, buyers. Then we also have breakout traders expecting that price will melt down after the breakout of a trend line. So short sellers coming in. Then we also have break and retest traders that also go into shorts expecting the market to push down. Well, if we see this happening, we already know that 3 participants in these markets are getting completely smashed and wrecked by trend lines. And you have to understand that the algorithms know all the strategies. The major banks, institutions use algorithms and put these kind of strategies into these algorithms. So they create trend lines. They create these kind of traps. So be very aware if your entry is on a trend line, because then the chance that you will get stopped is pretty big. The same goes if your stop loss is around the trend line. Be aware, make your stop loss a little bit bigger, or wait for the trend line to be swept and then enter on a more perfect entry. And I do have a live example of a trade I took Monday. This trade was shared in my Discord, all verified. Everyone can take the same trade as I do because I share everything. And what we see from structure already here is that we have a low, then we have our second low, and then we have our third potential touch. And you can already see that price just melted through this area and then again came up. Break and retest traders enter where? On shorts. But now we use trend line also for our profit system. Where is price want to go? Can we trade into liquidity? And what you clearly can see is that I entered over here with my 1 minute entry confirmations and price just rocketed off, took out the trend line. You can see that little minor wick over here that says, hey, we touched the trend line, we're going down right now. This is an inducement of sellers. Price comes a little bit down and spikes up, took out this high, which also happens to be my take profit, and the trade was done. And this is how you use trend line to your advantage. I have a little test for you guys to go back on your chart and find any trend lines that are holding. I can draw several trend lines everywhere and you will see the trend lines mainly are not holding, right? What do we have over here? For example, we have first touch, second touch, potential third touch melts towards the downside. We have one here, first touch, second touch, third touch, price smashed. And this is how you can trade into that liquidity, or in other words, wait for trendline liquidity to be swept, to be taken, to induce all those traders. Remember what I was talking about, the 3 types of traders that enters on the trend line. Wait for them to be all completely wrecked and then take your entry, and you will find better trades, better take profit systems, and a higher win rate because you understand liquidity even better than the rest. So that's about trendline liquidity. Thanks for watching. I hope that you have learned something about trend lines and how you can use them in your strategy. Or if you want to learn more about my strategy and how I can teach you to become profitable in these markets, well, join my Whop. But if you want to see it first, what my results are, then join my free Discord. All the links, I put them in the description, so easy for you to join. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, and again, if you got questions, put them in the comment section, then I'll see you on to my next video. Cheers!